Hello and good evening to everyone. Welcome to this 82nd day of this current 21-day session. This is the 5th session of the year. And fourth session of the year, getting a little ahead of myself, looking forward to the 5th as we're winding down the 4th. And today we welcome you to this series where we are further exploring, deepening the silence of our meditation and the silence of our being in general. My name is Tracy. I live in Southeast Florida, and we have a center here in the Fort Lauderdale area. So if you're ever in this neck of the woods, please look us up, and we have regular meditation classes at the center here as well. So if you are new tonight, or if you have missed any of the classes, as this is the midsummer season, then we invite you to watch the recordings. We've had just wonderful programs throughout this 4th session on the YouTube channel. You can find them all listed there. And also, if you are new tonight and you would like to meet one-on-one with an experienced Sahaja Yoga teacher to get up to speed, then you can, after the program, put a request in the chat to be put in a breakout room. So as we have been finding through this session, with the goal of expanding and deepening the length of our periods of silence, today we have a brand new topic that builds on the topic from Tuesday, which was feeling the love of Shri Mataji. And hopefully in our meditation since then, we've had a little bit more success in feeling the blossoming love of this wonderful teacher who we call Mother. That's what Shri Mataji means, devoted or revered mother. Tonight, we're excited to be bringing to you a new topic called Becoming More Sensitive to the Divine Guidance. That's a pretty extraordinary topic. We look forward to exploring it together. So this evening we will have a foot soak, and we will have guided meditation. We will have a talk of Shri Mataji. We have a familiar band somewhere in the middle to perform live music for us, some new pieces, so that'll be exciting. And then after that, we'll be exploring deeper in the meditation, becoming more sensitive to the divine guidance, and also enjoying deeper state of this meditation. So I'd like to introduce the presenters for this evening. First, we have Emilio. Emilio, welcome.
Thank you, Tracy, and welcome everyone. My name is Emilio. I live in the Cleveland area, and we have also here weekly meetings. So if anybody is also in the area after the session, feel free to reach out and we can give more information. I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga since 1996. And I received my self-realization back there in Colombia, in Bogota. And Sahaja Yoga has been a very primordial component of my life, helping me to reach out to balance and to improve myself and see whenever I'm out of balance. So I will be leading the second session of the meditation today, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Emilio. And again, we welcome Kathy, Julie from somewhere in the middle. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Emilio. Yes, so my name's Kathy, and this is Julie. We're from the Chicago area, and we also have a center in the Chicago area. So if you're ever in Chicago, please look it up. It's in the suburb of Wooddale. Wooddale. Why did I forget it? Wooddale. Woody something. And so we're going to sing 2 new songs, as Tracy said tonight. We're really excited to share these with you. The first one, Julie, you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, the first one is going to be a little bit more meditative. We're going to keep our attention in a state of meditation while we listen to it. It's a tune that I created for the Gayatri Mantra. This is kind of almost like a universal prayer. It's written in Sanskrit. You may have heard of it before. Very simple Sanskrit phrases which loosely translate might mean something like, we meditate before the light of the divine, and we wish to be enlightened ourselves as a result of chanting this mantra. So you can just listen and see how you feel.
Thanks. And then the second song is a song about reminding us who we really are. And sometimes, like during meditation, we might feel a little, and during introspections, we might feel some catches or some things. And so we're constantly critiquing ourselves with this practice and getting advice from other yogis and coaches and other people. So sometimes it can be a little hard process to get all this critique and feedback. So it's just a way to kind of reset and remind us who we really are, the pure spirit. So that's what the song Magnificent is about, and we hope you enjoy that as well. So we'll see you after the meditation.
Looking forward to it, Kathy, Julie, thank you. So we're going to begin the foot soak now. We have our buckets ready. So we will explore the topic of becoming more sensitive to the divine guidance while we're foot soaking. How about that? So let's first begin by giving vibrations in a clockwise manner with our hand to the water. And many of us have learned the mantra that we can offer to vibrate the water and to awaken the qualities of the ocean, the cleansing power of the ocean in our foot soak water. Samudra Devata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Samudra Devata Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let's go ahead and put our feet in. Bring both of our hands to the base of our torso, resting it close to the body on our lap. Let's take a moment, close our eyes, take a deep breath. And bring our attention to our hands and let's see what we're feeling in our hands right now. My hands feel a little heavy, and there's a little tingling in both of them. So today is Thursday. It's after a busy week. So let's raise our Kundalini and see if through the foot soak, we will feel the lightening of the vibrations that we feel in our hands. And put ourselves in the protection of the bandhan. So becoming more sensitive to the divine guidance happens through our central nervous system, which includes our awareness. And one of the ways that we feel this divine guidance is through what we call vibratory awareness. We've heard this expression numerous times. We can put a chart up on the screen that demonstrates, that depicts the subtle system within us and how we can detect the chakras and the channels on our hands. So here you can see that they are number and color coded. We don't have to memorize them, although it doesn't take long to start remembering which finger corresponds with what chakra. And when our Mother Kundalini rises, she guides us. She is the divine power of love within us. She rises, piercing our fontanelle bone, and connects us to the divine power, which then flows into our subtle being and illuminates it, almost as if it resonates on a vibrational level with our spirit, bringing and expanding the spirit in our heart into our awareness. So let's close our eyes. We can again have our hands resting on our lap. Take a deep breath. And bring the attention inside, into the center of our being, the path of our Kundalini. We talk about our attention a lot in this meditation, and it's essential, critical, fundamental to our vibratory awareness. Because wherever our attention goes, our hands register the subtle energy vibrations of wherever our attention is. So we want to become sensitive to our own subtle system. So our attention has to be inside. And we can experiment with this on our own, in our own meditation, by putting our attention in different places, maybe on other members of our family or a place of work, somewhere that we enjoy being in the nature, and we can witness the changing vibrations in our hands. But for right now, we want to put our attention inside of ourselves. We can bring it to our heart. And now let's raise it to the top of our head. If we want, we can place our right hand on the top of our head to help focus our attention there. And let's ask our Mother Kundalini, please bring me into balance, into the center channel in the present, and connect me with the all-pervading divine power. Mother Kundalini, I want to become more sensitive to the power of vibratory awareness, to the power of the divine that enlightens my awareness and that helps me to feel the state of my own subtle system. So once we feel our attention settled on top of our head, we can bring our hand back on our lap. The witness state, where our attention is settled on top of our head, helps us to go beyond the mind, beyond the ego and superego, so that we can become more sensitive to this vibratory awareness. Vibratory awareness is a gift of the fifth energy center at the base of our throat, the Vishuddhi chakra. As Kundalini pierces and enlightens this chakra, our hands become sensitive to our subtle system. Let's bring the fingers of our right hand and place all the fingertips at the base of our throat in the hollow. We're giving vibrations to our fifth energy center. Mother Kundalini, please cleanse and clear my Vishuddhi chakra so that my hands can be more sensitive to the state of my subtle system. We're paying attention inside. Perhaps we feel strands of our Kundalini rising as we ask her for this blessing, for this experience. I want to know the truth about myself through my vibratory awareness. Perhaps we feel our attention also begin to rise higher. Let's see if we can feel our attention resting on top of our head. Now, while we're keeping it there, let's put both of our hands open in front of our heart, at the level of the heart. And let's open both hands. The attention is up high. And let's take a deep breath and relax. So let's see if we feel one hand heavier than the other, which is the divine way of saying that we've overused one of our channels. So for example, I feel my right hand heavier than my left. And this is divine guidance in its most basic form. And this will help me to know I need to clear my right side. We can see if we feel one hand warmer than the other or cooler. And even though my right hand feels heavier, it also feels cooler or calmer. Now let's pay attention to our fingertips. Do we feel any fingertips tingling? This is the way our vibrations are showing us where there is a blockage or an imbalance or a weakness in our subtle system that we can nourish by giving that chakra or that channel vibrations, or by clearing it as we've learned how to do. So let's take a minute now to clear our right side by putting our left hand towards the sky. And asking Mother Kundalini, please help my right side come into balance. Let all the overactivity be released from my right channel into the atmosphere. We're learning how to respond to the divine guidance. Let the attention remain on top of the head, so there's no interference with the clearing process. Now let's bring our left hand down and put our right hand towards Mother Earth. And this is going to help clear the left side, which we know how to do. And we also can ask again, Mother Kundalini, please bring my left side into balance and let any of the blockages, impurities, in my left side be absorbed into Mother Earth. If we feel any tingling on a fingertip, we can also ask Mother Earth to absorb the imbalance in a specific chakra. So if we feel the left forefinger, the Vishuddhi chakra, the fifth center, we can ask Mother Earth to please cleanse any impurities in this chakra, and we can also give it a bandha, which we've learned how to do. And offer it to the foot soak water. So the divine guidance shows us by ways of these sensations that we feel either in our hands or could be in the chakra themselves or in the body. Or even in our awareness, it can be a knowing, just a sensation that, oh, this center is not okay. And then we use the bandhan and the clearing techniques so that we can feel the soothing, cooling, pure vibrations of our Mother Kundalini. So let's feel now above the top of our head and see if we can feel those vibrations emanating from the fontanelle bone. This is our Kundalini connecting us to the divine power, which is also called Param Chaitanya. And Emilio will guide us in a meditation where we experience this. Become more aware of it. And this Param Chaitanya can also flow into our subtle system through the fontanelle bone, and we can feel it on our hands as a cool breeze. So let's check our hands again now before we end our foot soak. We can put them on our lap. and see if our hands feel quieter, calmer, lighter, or cooler. This is what we're looking for. In developing a more pure, balanced, enlightened, subtle system. I hope you feel better in your hands or perhaps in your body. I wanted to just mention one more thing before we move on to listen to the talk of Shri Mataji. And one thing that we can do very easily to help experience the sensations of our vibratory awareness on our hands is very similar to foot soaking, and it's called hand soaking. So I have a separate bucket that I use, a smaller one, for hand soaking. We do exactly the same thing. We take a little bit of salt, we put it in the bucket with water. We can put the bucket on our lap or a table in front of us, and we put our hands in the salt water. And we can sit like that for 5 or 10 minutes with our eyes closed and relaxing, and let the salt water clear the vibrations in our hands, because sometimes our hands may not be as sensitive as we might hope. We hear about feeling the cool breeze or feeling the tingling, or feeling catches, a prickling sensation, or a numbness, imbalances. Maybe we don't feel those. So we can do a hand soak. Maybe we don't feel the cool breeze in our hands. We'd like to be more sensitive and feel these divine vibrations. So we can do the hand soak. And then similarly, we just rinse our hands and dry them off and dispose of the water afterwards. So that's hand soaking, which is very useful for improving our vibratory awareness in our hands. All right, so let's now rinse our feet. Just put the bucket aside for the moment, and we are going to go now to listening to the talk of Shri Mataji.
Whatever you have decided is all right. But if it does not materialize, there's nothing to worry. There's nothing to be upset. There's nothing to be overly nervous about it. I'll give you an example. One day I was going to America. And of course, as it is, as all the Sahajogis are, they get quite worried. Now mother has to go to America. Means, see, everybody is upset. They're looking at the time. Now time is this, time is that. I was just smiling. I said, I have to go to America. Why are you worried? And suddenly one of the Sahajogi's child fell down and broke her hand. And she couldn't move her fingers. So I was just coming out. And as soon as he brought the child, I said, all right, I'm not going just now to the airport. They were very upset. Now she's not going to the airport, as if all the heavens are going to fall down or what. But I said, now let me see the child. I treated the child was all right. All right, I said, let's now go to the airport. And they were saying, Mother, the plane must have left. It's all right, doesn't matter, let's go to the airport. Went to the airport, and this plane that was going to take me was just there because there was something wrong with the plane. And there was another plane going to Washington, and I wanted actually to go to Washington instead of New York. So I was in the plane nicely going to Washington. But one must know that you are not doing. Everything is arranged and planned and beautifully kept for you. You decide something, all right. If your decision is all right, if you have to do that, it will work out. If it doesn't work out, it should not have been worked out. Now, this is the difference between a person who is a realized soul and who is not a realized soul. A realized soul person is not bothered what he wants, what he likes, what he is fond of. He is not. Whatever he gets is all right. Now, I can see you are living under this roof, which is so horrible. I mean, there's no proper arrangements here, nothing. I don't know how you are living here. I mean, I just don't know what to do. We are trying to get a land, and this landowner is such a greedy fellow, but I don't mind the greed part, but still he's not yet giving us the land. It's all right, now what to do? But you all enjoy it. You don't mind. Otherwise, normally people would say, oh no, I want this kind of a room and I want this kind of a house and this and that. That you can live under any circumstances because you don't worry about your physical comfort anymore. What you think of your own spiritual comfort. I've seen people, Sahajogis, so beautiful, even children. If there is a film going on, something funny comes in, immediately they all close their eyes. We don't want to see this. Nobody has to tell them because, you see, they are sort of inside, they have built in that subtle personality which cannot stand nonsense. They may not say something, they may not be harsh, but just they shun and go away from such places automatically. So to describe the new personality is this way. That in the nature we see very clearly. In the nature what we see is a tree grows. Now it has to expand, but it cannot, so it does not. If it can, it will. And also it tries to bring all the leaves exposed to the sunlight somehow. Now, I don't think the trees have that much intelligence to organize it. But there is something that organizes them so beautifully. Now, it's not only one tree, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. The one who does all that is the one with whom you are in contact. The trees are not. They are just playing into the hands of nature. But they cannot manipulate, maneuver, understand this divine power. They cannot. Animals cannot. Even human beings cannot. But you can, because you have crossed the limit of this human bondage. And now you are just like great citizens of the great realm of divinity. So this divine force helps you, works out everything. And also it takes you, it guides you, it manages you. So, what you have to do is to keep yourself open for the guidance. At the same time, you must act, because the guidance will also come from within, by which you will know this is what I have to do.
So let's stay in meditative silence for another minute or two. making you feel so weak. They exposed your imperfection when they offered you advice, made you lose your confidence, and then they made you think twice. But remember what you are. You're such a shining star. Remember you're magnificent in what you are. So don't forget who you are. You're as special as a star. Your spirit is magnificent, and that's what you are. A shining star. How do you handle their rejection? How do you handle the critique? Do you feel your true significance when Mother speaks? It's time for introspection. Did you follow her advice? Why do you still feel insignificant? Why do you still think twice? But don't judge yourself so hard. They are insignificant. Your spirit is magnificent. So don't judge yourself so hard. Do it your own way, and it will be okay. It's the only way. You can handle the rejection. You can handle the critique. Practice with due diligence. You learn the pure technique. Did your introspection, took Mother's advice. Now you're feeling so magnificent. There's no need to think twice. So remember what you are. You're such a shining star. Remember you're magnificent in only what you are. Don't forget who you are. Special as a star. Your spirit is magnificent, and that's what you are. A shining star. Always remember what you are. So always remember what you are. And this is from one of Shri Mataji's talks, talking about the spirit and something we always need to remember. So let's go back and do another meditation and go deeper into our finding our pure spirit, our pure selves.
Kathy, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Now we'll continue with the second part of the meditation. So let's maintain attention within. We can close our eyes. And let's bring our attention to our Kundalini, to this motherly energy that is now awakened within us. this energy that nourishes us, and very humbly and very respectfully can ask Mother Kundalini, please help to clear all our chakras, help to remove all the imbalances in our channels, and help us to establish the connection with the divine power of God's love. We can bring our hand, our right hand, in front of our first chakra, and very slowly and very gentle, we can help our Kundalini also to rise up through the central channel, all the way to the top of our heads, to the top on the seventh center, on the seventh chakra. And we can repeat this a few times. And we can say 3 times the primordial mantra, Om. 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 We can bring our right hand back to our lap. And now we maintain our attention on the top of our heads. And in the bottom of our hearts, we can pray to our Kundalini, to our mother, to help us to become more sensitive to these divine vibrations, to this divine guidance. Mother Kundalini, please help me to improve the sensitivity to the Param Chaitanya, the divine vibrations. Help me to get the understanding of these divine vibrations. Father, please give me the pure knowledge. Father, please give me the knowledge of my own subtle being. Now we can bring our right hand to our hearts on the left side of our chest. Where our spirit resides. This spiritual journey that we are all following has as one of its goals to help us become the pure spirit. Pure spirit that is the reflection of God Almighty. We keep praying to our Mother Kundalini. Mother, I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am the spirit. I am not my emotions. I am not my thoughts. I am the pure spirit. I am not the past. I am not the present. I am not the future. I am the spirit. Mother Kundalini, please enlighten my spirit and help me to dissolve myself in the ocean of love, in the ocean of God's love. Now we can raise our energy from the heart all the way up through the central channel to the top of our heads, to the seventh center, to the Sahasrara chakra. Now we can bring back our hand into our lap and maintain our attention in the top of our heads. We should always remember to pray to our Kundalinis, pray to this motherly energy to help us to improve our subtle system, to improve and clear our chakras, and to help us to feel much better the vibrations, this divine energy the Param Chaitanya. To help us to feel what needs to be improved within ourselves. But also to help us to understand the signs, the messages that come from the divine and that can guide us in our spiritual journey, but also that can guide us into our daily lives. Our attention is very powerful, and the pure desire can achieve wonders. We will stay in silence for a few more moments. Our attention in our Sahasraras on the top of our heads. Focusing our attention in the silence between thoughts. Focusing our attention in widening that space between thoughts. We can fold our hands together in front of our hearts. And we can thank to our Mother Kundalini for all the guidance and all the care, for all the nourishing, and for helping us to improve through the meditation every day. And we can pray also to this divine energy to help us to understand that we don't do anything, that we are just instruments of the divine. To help us to witness the divine play. We can bring our hands back down into our laps. Finish with this meditation session, deepening the silence. We can raise our Kundalini, maintain our left hand from the bottom on the first center and going up to all the central channel, while our right hand circles around it. On the first knot to tie up the energy. The second time. Two knots. On the third time. And we give the protection to all the 7 chakras. Band them 7 times. Tracy, back at you.
Thank you, Emilio. That was lovely. We can see how when we're in this state of meditation, the answers, the guidance, the direction comes sahaja, spontaneously to us. It's effortless. We get to witness and enjoy this divine guidance. So we'll have a few announcements now. And this session will be ending next Tuesday, will be the last evening of the 4th series of this 21 days. So we'll have the program on Sunday and on next Tuesday. And then we'll be having a 4-week break before session 5. The foot soaks will continue throughout the break every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And they're at the same time and on this same Zoom link. There will be a short break in the Footsooks for the Labor Day weekend, but we will announce that next week. The next session of 21 days will begin on Thursday, September 21st, which is a Thursday, and go to Tuesday, November 7th. And this fifth session is on the joy of our spirit and experiencing that more fully. So this Sunday, we will be having our workshop breakout room program that we always have on Sundays. And the topic for this coming Sunday is balancing our responsibilities with our mental well-being. So we look forward to seeing you then. And finally, in the chat, you will find the information that will take you to the website where all of the YouTube sessions are recordings of them are available, and the handouts for these sessions are available, where you can join the WhatsApp community if you haven't already. And if you'd like to request a mentor, you can also, there will be an opportunity to do that after the end of the program. If you would like to go to a breakout room, then please type in the chat to the breakout room help desk that you would like to meet with a Sahaja teacher in the breakout room this evening. Otherwise, you're welcome to remain on now. We will have the presenters all join together, and we will have some questions that we will ask of Emilio and Kathy and Julie. So please come back and join us, folks. We have some questions and answers that you will be providing your experiences, your sharing of experiences on this topic of becoming more sensitive to the divine guidance. So, how about Julie? Shall we start with you, my dear?
Okay.
Perhaps you could illuminate a little further in your own words how you experience vibratory awareness, and if you can clarify a little bit the difference between feeling these sensations that could be the tingling or the heat or the catches, we call catches, heaviness, the prickling in the fingers, and distinguish that from the divine vibrations, maybe to give us a little clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It took me a little while to really develop that vibrational awareness. So if you're progressing slow with it, that's okay. But when you start to feel them, as Tracy said, you might start to feel prickles in the finger or like tingling. That's usually for me a sign that there is some sort of imbalance in that particular finger, which is related to that particular chakra. And then a lot of times during my meditation, I'll feel a lot of heat come into the hands suddenly. Sometimes at the beginning, sometimes in the middle of the meditation. And then that heat, I can feel it release. And when it's releasing, I start to feel all of this heaviness dissipate and everything becomes lighter. And then the heat goes away and it's gradually replaced by coolness. So that's just an example of like my meditation tonight. That's exactly what I experienced. And so that heat is kind of like literally burning up some of the negativities or imbalances within the channels, within our chakras. And then the tingling in individual fingers is more of the imbalances that I feel as well. Those are usually, again, more of the guidepost, that feedback that you get when you know that something needs to be cleared up. So for example, during tonight's meditation, my left pointer finger, index finger, was tingling on and off. And of course, that's the left Vishuddhi chakra, responsible for how we feel about ourselves. And I always have to come back to that particular finger. And I use affirmations a lot to clear my chakras. So I can just say things like, I'm not guilty, but it goes way deeper than that. There's a whole host of different things you can say at many of the different chakras that will help it to clear, such as I am worthy, or I don't compare myself with others, or I am good, enough as I am, the divine loves me just as I am, or something along those lines. After a while, you'll get to know lots of different things that you individually know for yourselves that will clear that particular chakra, and then the tingling will go away, and I know that it's back in balance. The coolness and the feeling of lightness through my body is when I know that the clearing has happened, and those are the divine vibrations. That's usually the state that I feel more true knowingness of truth, just in general. Like, that's the state that I'm in, to just receiving the divine energy through my body. And sometimes a thought will come to my mind that's just a pure drop of pure knowledge, like some truth will come to me, and I'll know that that is for sure true at the very core of my being, because everything responds with just joyful lightness. So that's just my perspective on some of the tingling and heaviness, the catches that we need to clear away, versus when you're in that state where you're feeling the lightness and the truth.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julie. That was beautiful. It brought something to mind that I'd also like to share about that, because just like you said, we used to have weekly programs at a university when I lived in Pittsburgh. And every week, without fail, as we began to have the collective meditation, I would begin to also feel tremendous heat in my hands and through my entire body. And it took me a little while to realize that, well, this is not me, that a lot of times what we are feeling may be the environment that we are in, and it is clearing through us, that we may be feeling the vibrations of the place where we were meditating. In that case, it happened to be in the Department of Engineering at a very well-known university, and so it makes sense, doesn't it, that sometimes what we're feeling is also a processing of vibrations. It could be another person that we're with and close to or work with, or in that case, it was at this university. And so we also realize that it's okay. We don't have to get worried about it. We don't have to get upset about it or get freaked out about it. Gradually, that heat would dissipate, just like you experienced tonight, and the vibrations would be cool. So, like you said, Emilio, we are often not aware of all the ways that we're this divine instrument. You ended the meditation with that. So I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to add to this question about clarifying the difference between feeling these catches that are the way the divine guides us to what might need a little extra attention and extra vibrations, and then maybe also something about your experience of feeling the divine vibrations.
Thank you, Tracy, for that. It's always interesting to see how we all, though we are different, but actually we go through the same cycle of improving ourselves and getting to recognize how this energy works throughout us and our centers. So also maybe to go a little bit deeper also in what Julie was saying, yeah, usually in my experience, and I'm not talking much when I started, but like even nowadays, when we are in meetings that we have in person with new seekers that come to our sessions, it's not that much that at the beginning we always feel bad or we feel catches, but usually it's because we are doing that at the end of the day. We have been working all day long, so we have overused our energy channels, maybe our centers. So it's normal to be in that state, and that's why actually we do the meditation to improve ourselves. But it's always very interesting and beautiful to see that when we start the session, yeah, we feel the catches, we may feel those imbalances, and as the meditation progresses and the program progresses, we feel how these coolness start coming into our hands and feeling also on the top of our heads, right? And in my particular experience, that change is very strong in the programs in person with people. Sometimes when I'm at home, I don't feel that much of a difference. And maybe because of that, I don't feel that strong, the cool vibrations. I feel always a little bit cooler or stronger in these in-person meetings. But again, it's my personal experience. Now, talking about the divine guidance, getting to know ourselves, as we were talking also earlier, is part of understanding this guidance, right? This energy is telling us what we have to look after, what centers maybe we need to improve, and what we have to work on to get better, right? To grow, to continue this path of evolution, the spiritual journey that we also were talking about. But let's say that is kind of like more like an internal type of experience, no? How we feel ourselves regarding to our own subtle state. But the divine guidance goes even beyond that. And a little bit similar to what Shri Mataji was saying in that excerpt, the divine is looking after us. It's always trying to make our lives easier. But sometimes we don't see the signs, we don't see the signals. And maybe if we are stuck in a traffic jam, it's something very mundane, let's say, and we get worried and overly concerned, but we don't know what are the reasons behind that, right? Maybe we didn't need to be at that particular time. We wanted to be in that place. And things, again, work out that way. There are many different examples and many different beautiful experiences from yogis, again and again, going to the same. And there are, again, situations about time, situations about places, situations about changes in life. And once we have this enlightenment, we actually can use this power, check the vibrations and see why something is happening that way. Or maybe what is the path to follow that is more benevolent to my own being. So yeah, part of what I just wanted to share in my personal experience.
Very lovely. Thank you, Amelia. So we talked about how this divine guidance informs us about which chakras are catching through our vibratory awareness. Kathy, can you give us an example of maybe experience that you've had in your journey in Sahaja Yoga about how the divine guidance of your, let's say, either vibratory awareness or just understanding, a spontaneous understanding, like Amelia was saying, or maybe we don't understand why something happens in the moment, but then later on we, in our meditation, get this clarity about why it happened, and how this has guided you to a better understanding of a specific chakra, or perhaps something in yourself, some aspect of your personality, and how to improve it or to clear it or something like that. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, it does. And, and like Emilio said, it's very subtle. It's super subtle, and it does help to be silent and to meditate a lot when you're not sure about something. So, and also to, when you do have any decisions to make, it's always helpful to make them like right after you're meditating, like or right after you meditate, meditate on that particular issue. And me personally, I think it happens a lot. I love to write songs, and I'm always writing songs. And it happened for a while that I wasn't writing any songs, and no songs were coming to me. I didn't feel like writing songs, and I was just in a really busy place at work, and so I wasn't maybe meditating as much as I should have. So I started this summer meditating a lot more, taking some more time to myself. I took a songwriting class with Stephen Day from LA and tried to kind of read and just prayed to Shri Mataji to kind of resurge that creativeness. And so one of my first things is I wanted to write a song about, I felt like writing a song about, what was the phrase? I don't know what I'm doing. For some reason I had this little thing I kept on saying to myself, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of something silly I say to myself, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And because often I don't. I just feel like I'm just going along and, things just happen. And so that was what I was going to write a song about. And I was just determined, and, I had it all written out, and it just didn't flow. It didn't look right, but I was just kind of forcing it. I woke up, I meditated, had a nice meditation, and I went right to bed. And the next morning, meditated again, and I woke up with this this line. It says that said, "We're not doing anything." And I'm like, huh, that's an interesting. And it had a melody and everything. I'm like, that's interesting. But no, I don't want to write a song about we're not doing anything. I want to write a song about I don't know what I'm doing. So I went back to my song, my song. And then the next morning, the same thing happened. I woke up humming this other song, We're Not Doing Anything. And I went, that's it. I'm supposed to be writing that song. So I just kind of abandoned that song and, used another one and wrote a new song. And I think that, like Emilio said, that's really, that's a good lesson is sometimes when we do something, we force it and we just want to force it because I want to do this, I want to do that. But in reality, we're not doing, the less we do, the more we do in a way. So the less that we insert ourselves, the more, the more, it has a lot more depth of what we're doing. A lot of more people enjoy it, and I think with the new song, hopefully you'll hear one day, we're not doing anything. It's just a lot more fun song that I don't know what I'm doing. So it's just a recent example. So basically, when it's the ego and when it's just you, you're not. It doesn't work out. But when the divine gets her point across, and you can listen and you imbibe it and carry it out, and your actions are in tune with the divine, then it will work out, and you can be sure about that, and everybody will enjoy it.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was lovely. So that sort of is a great segue into the next question, which is how we can tell the difference between guidance that comes from the divine versus, that direction or impulse or desire that comes from the mind or our ego. And so when you were talking, it brought something up to my mind. And how can we tell this difference between the divine guidance and, something that's coming from our mind or our ego. And so I just want to give another short example that many years ago, my daughter and her roommate were looking for a place to live, and school was about to start, and they were getting very anxious that they hadn't found a place because, you know, most of the apartments in the university area were filling up, were being taken quite fast. So we went one day and we saw 3 different places, and we got back and we did something called checking the vibrations. So we sat to meditate and checked the vibrations by asking the divine, is this apartment, with, you know, we had an address, the best place for the girls to live? Or is this going to be benevolent for them, for their life while going to university? And we did that for each of the 3 options. And we included one additional option, which was to keep looking. And the way we could tell that it was the divine guidance versus what we wanted, because they both wanted this one apartment so desperately. It was clean, it was affordable, it was close. You know, there was nothing visually or on the appearance not good about it, but something inside of me was saying, not that place. I just didn't have a great feeling about it, but I didn't say anything to them. And we checked the vibrations, and the first apartment was feeling very tingling and hot, and the second one the same, and the third one that they were very hopeful for also. No good vibrations. I mean, there was no cool breeze. Not one of us felt a cool breeze for any of the options until we checked the option to keep looking. And then all of us felt it get very light and very clear, the vibrations in our hands, and cool. And so I went to bed that night thinking, oh dear, you know, it's a Friday, school starts Monday, we're in trouble. And then it came into my mind as I was falling asleep. Oh, I called about that one apartment, which was in the perfect location, but it was out of budget. But something told me as I'm beginning to fall asleep that we need to go and see that. And the next day we called. He met with us, he met the girls, and even though he was going to rent it out to a group of boys, he fell in love with the girls, and he ended up asking them if a reduced rent would help them to secure the apartment. And he reduced it within their budget by like 25%, and they signed the lease, and that was done. So I guess the sort of the takeaway from it is that we also can, if we're unsure about taking a decision and wanting to get this divine guidance, we can ask another person who meditates and has this vibratory awareness, who can feel this and developing a sensitivity. And it's good to practice it. It's good to use it and to check different things, options that we have to make when we have to make a decision or make a choice, which was enlightened choices was the topic a week ago. So this vibratory awareness and the divine guidance and enlightened choices, they sort of all go together in that way. So this is a journey that we're on, and it's sort of, we're in the infancy of this new capacity that's been awakened on our central nervous system. And just like anything else that we develop as we grow, it takes practice and it takes patience, and we might make some mistakes, but that's okay. The divine is more patient with us than we can possibly be with ourselves. So anyway, just wanted to share that. So going back to the question, Julie, how about you? How can you tell the difference between guidance that comes from the divine versus that comes from the mind or the ego?
First of all, I love your story. I think that's great. It's such a great example of the most important thing is, because a lot of us lead quick, fast-paced lives, right? And we're going through our day and we're making multiple decisions every hour almost. Sometimes every minute we're making decisions, and it's hard to kind of take that break out and just stop and ask, does this feel right? Does this feel right? So I will say for me, it's difficult to receive and understand the difference between when I'm pushing a little bit too much to just get through the day and make decisions on my own because I think it's right, versus just stopping and seeing if I feel that it's right. But like Tracy said, we have to remember to just stop sometimes and ask, and stop and basically just surrender, meaning like I don't know the right answer and I'm humble enough to just stop and ask. And sometimes when you ask and just stop everything, you can get an answer that kind of, you just have this knowing in your system of what's right and what's wrong. But checking vibrations is really the very best way of really knowing if you want to know. So when you meditate, the more you're going to develop that vibrational awareness and that ability to check vibrations to see what's true and what's false, what's good and what's bad. And like Auntie Tracy's example, the answers will surprise you so much. You know, you think this one place is perfect, but it's not at all. And sometimes we may never know why it's a no, but usually the one that we get where we check and it's a yes, and it may not seem apparent at the time, it's just always appears later that it was the perfect choice and we couldn't see it at the time, but it ended up being like, oh my gosh, this is more perfect than we could even imagine. So I would say just keep practicing your meditation and keep practicing your vibrational awareness, and try to get to that point where you're practicing checking vibrations. You may not think that you're confident enough yet to check vibrations, but practice anyway. Practice just seeing what happens when you ask a question. Even simple questions like that, you know the answer, this is definitely going to be yes, this is a no. Ask them, hold your hands out and see what your body feels like when there's a no. Get to know what your body is feeling when there's a yes. It may not be cool, it may not be tingly, it may not be light. Everyone experiences those sensations a little bit differently. So work on it. Just keep working on it, and it will manifest at some point, I guarantee.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, Emilio, back to you again. So perhaps you could share with us one experience where you knew that you were being guided by the divine. And I don't know, maybe also how you knew that it was coming from the divine. You must be muted.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Auntie. Apologies for that.
Okay.
No happens to me, even at work. So there are many situations, but I think the one that comes to mind that was a life-changing situation, I mean, for good, happened back then when I was still in Colombia, living there. I was already married with my wife, Niru. She's also Sahaja yogi. And we were there for about 2 years, and I was looking for a change in my job, a professional change. And I was looking for a transfer to see where can I move, right? And there the ego, we talk about that. The ego is where I want to go, where can I move? And I was looking for different places globally. Where can I go? This place looks nice. These positions are nice. These teams are looking very good. And like the last of my options, the very last one, the less likely, or the one that I was looking the least, was let's go to the USA. And probably, if you know, there is certain animosity in Latin America about the USA for all the political and all the different reasons and situations. And so that was like the list of my options. So of course my ego was telling me, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to do that. I want these other places. And eventually what ended happening is that the position that came up first and more strong was to come to the USA. So at the moment, kind of like what you were saying, Tracy, about the situation with the apartment. Oh, this is so beautiful. I want this. But things happen that you don't end up going that way. And when we came here, or when the option to come here to the States happened, what we did was to check vibrations. I mean, we don't want to go really, but let's check vibrations and let's see what happens. And it was really cool. It was like, but I don't want to be there, but it's really cool. So what to do? Okay, let's follow the vibration. So I end up taking up on the offer to come here to the States, to come here to Cleveland, actually. That happened 12 years ago. And is, again, one of the best decisions that we have made. Our daughters grew up here. It's a lovely place. We get to meet so many different new people, yogis, and we are actually very active part of growing Sahaja Yoga here, to bring Sahaja Yoga to a place that didn't have much before. So that's where you see actually what the divine had planned for you, and kind of like shaping everything for you to be comfortable and do what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's very beautiful. Thank you, Amelia. Okay. Seems like this might be a good place to come to the end of tonight's program. Kathy, is there anything else that you might like to share before we say goodnight to all of our friends that have joined us this evening?
Oh, yeah, no, but thank you so much, Emilio, for sharing that story. I'm glad that we're all glad that you're here in the United States, and we certainly are glad that you're joining us this evening. Yeah, sometimes it's, you'll never know what would have happened if you didn't come, right? But I think that the more that we're practiced in actually following the vibrations, so when we feel the strong vibrations to do one thing or another, and we do the one thing, or sometimes like, oh, we go, no, our ego still wants us to do this, so I don't. And then you learn right away, oh no, that was not a good idea. I should have followed. Like, you learn as you go. Yeah, I'll follow the vibrations next time. And so yeah, there is no looking back. You just have so many wonderful experiences following the vibrations, and lessons learned too. It's not just all super benevolent. They're just these are lessons, that this is why you're here on this earth, to learn and grow and develop your spirit, and become your true self. And this is really, really important. And so that's why it's important to follow the vibrations, not just to have a great time, or to get a successful new job. And it's sometimes not about you either. It's about the best outcome for not only you but everyone around you. So those are some things to consider as well.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So on that note, we are going to wrap up this evening's program. I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. It was such a pleasure and so joyful. And we hope that this topic of becoming more sensitive to the divine guidance is something that each of us can continue to develop and grow stronger in that together, share it together on many more occasions in the future. So let's just take one moment. We're going to close our eyes and bring our attention back up to the top of our head, offer our gratitude to the divine, to our spirit, for giving us this gift of being connected and being guided, and express our desire to become more sensitive, more honest, more dedicated, knowing our true self and becoming better at following this divine guidance. So with that, let's collectively raise and tie up our mother energy. If we feel our attention also rising back up, feeling more joyful within, putting ourselves in bandhan. We may have music for just another few minutes for those who might like to sit for just a short while, although I think we've taken up quite a lot of your time this evening and hope that you've enjoyed it with us. Thank you and have a good night and look forward to seeing you on Sunday.